Hello and welcome to the Listening Post's unboxing channel on YouTube. Today I'm unboxing Rotel's brand new release RA-1572 MKII, the new implementation of their stunning 120 watt integrated amplifier. Is lovely to see here in New Zealand. The packaging of this product is brilliant, the quality of this product is brilliant, the build quality and sound is absolutely brilliant. So it's wonderful I get the opportunity to share this with you today. The 15 series packaging is double boxed. The outer box is like a freight carton. Slap a freight label on it, away it goes, but it protects the product a little bit more inside. It's brown with black writing. There's model and serial number information and a scan code on one end, and then basic information on the other, including the colour. And today we're unboxing the silver option. Again, because this is double boxed, the opening process is probably a little bit more easier than normal. The brown box is very straightforward to get rid of. Lift off and expose the traditional black and white Rotel packaging that we've all grown to love. The unit itself is sealed with a Rotel branded tape. It has again an emulation of the colour and model information on one end, and in this instance the scan code for serial number information on one side. Opening these is very, very straightforward. A very simple sort of nick of that factory tape, and we're in. Again, nice little reminder, don't draw a blade unnecessarily across the top of a component. You may damage it, or you run the risk of damaging some of the accessories that are commonly in the top of the packaging. On the top of the box we see a Rotel branded quick setup guide. The process is very straightforward, and don't be intimidated by setting up a product of this capability. The inputs and outputs and accessories are all listed, along with how you might connect speakers and other traditional source devices. In the top we have a warranty card and some basic contact information, along with a little bit of a freebie in the form of a Rotel branded USB stick. There is some cut to perfection closed cell foam, and in the back we have a USB cable. Now the unit itself has an Ethernet socket that is not for the purposes of streaming, but for monitoring and control over a network, as well as using Rotel's control app. There is a USB cable, it's a basic A to B, and a 2-pin IEC New Zealand power cable. Lifting it out of the box is very, very straightforward. The closed cell foam allows you to get your fingers underneath. In the base underneath the amplifier is the Rotel's remote control. In the base there are the AAA batteries and a full function remote. The remote is the same across the 14 series and 15 series and has full functions and features, easy to operate. Okay. Now opening the bag is very, very straightforward. It's sealed with a large piece of sellotape, and then once you've nicked that, it's very, very straightforward to gain access to the amplifier. The bag is firm, so it does take a moment to come over the back of the binding posts and other things like that. Once free from the binding posts, tip it over and continue the process by lifting the bag off the top. All of the 15 series, including amplifiers and preamps, have the front sort of curved cheeks protected with a sort of soft tape. Stops scratches and other things like that in transit. Removing that one of life's small pleasures, revealing the two-tone extruded aluminium that the range is now renowned for. Looking at the front, we see no cosmetic departure from the Mark I. Everything inside is what has changed, and we'll touch on that when we see the rear. Again, the curved cheeks, a traditional traditional on-off switch. Above that, the model number RA-1572MKII. Beneath it is a 3.5mm headphone socket output and a USB. The USB can provide 5 volts for the purposes of charging or powering an external device if required, as well as a basic media player input. There's A and B speakers, and above that the IR sensor. The front display is easy to use and navigate through, and it has a selection of inputs that you can select via the front buttons. With phono, CD, balanced input, and again we'll see that at the rear, tuner, auxiliary and USB marked, along with 2 Coax, 2 Optical, an asynchronous USB and the Bluetooth input. Over this side we see navigation of the menu as well as up, down, selection and enter, and then the rotary encoded volume control. It's worth noting that both the illumination around the power and the front display can be dimmed via the remote or menu functions. Tipping it forward, we see the almost dual mono nature of its construction, with output stages from each channel separated physically. A large, in fact oversized, power supply internally feed those transistors with more than enough power to drive any real load. 120 watts is quite a conservative rating, and at the extremes of low impedance or fluctuating impedance speakers, an amplifier like this will continue to control into very, very low impedances. The amplifier is not very deep, but it is quite tall comparatively, and that's because of the circuit topography and other things like that that Rotel have chosen. The end result is something that sounds absolutely magnificent. It's at the back again that some of the magic really happens. Firstly, we've got a phono input and a dedicated ground off to one side. There's a single-ended CD, tuner, auxiliary input, along with 2 subwoofer outputs and a pre-out. These can be controlled and set up via the menu. There is an independent balanced input for an external streamer or higher end CD player, like the Rotel one. And there are 2 Coax and 2 optical digital inputs, easy to select. It's the asynchronous USB and the choices that Rotel have made with their change of DAC chips. AKM DAC has been replaced by a Texas Instrument one. They've upgraded it with now a 32-bit 384 kHz DAC. It means that the asynchronous USB can now be a useful input for streaming of MQA of a laptop or a computer. Those type of bit rates mean that it can now deliver any number of different opportunities for those that are into high-end streaming or files of extraordinary quality. The Ethernet, as I alluded to, is an input for control of both an app and monitoring of external control devices. There's a Bluetooth and an RS-232 control module as well. Beneath that we see Rotel's Rotel Link communication. This is associated with controlling external Rotel products. Then we've got some generic control in the form of an external IR input and then 12-volt trigger outputs for large power amps or other devices. There is an emulation of a rear USB. Again, this is realistically for the purposes of providing power to an external device. Lastly, we'll see the AAC power socket. Now the unit has beautiful A and B speakers, and the binding posts, which again are protected by these sort of little plastic caps to stop banana plugs from being utilised initially. Those caps can easily be removed. Unusually the A speakers are at the base and the B speakers are above, but it's very, very clearly labelled and there'll be no muck-ups as far as that goes. The fit and finish of these is beautiful, and the quality of which is a step up as you would expect from something of the quality of the 15 series from Rotel. Each of the binding posts is also screen printed with the Rotel logo. So looking at it again from the side, we see the additional ventilation, and the front where we see such a beautiful extruded aluminium fit and finish that is renowned in this 15 series. So there we have it. Rotel's 120 watt RA-1572 MKII, unboxed here at the Listening Post in Christchurch, New Zealand. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more, subscribe to our channel.